So I'm going to explain my 23.33 FMC ASR mean at PBQ Merdeka 2019. So this is the first solve. It was a 23 move solve, and there are 4 bad edges on the green front EO. And it's quite a simple EO, L prime, R2, B prime, which leaves me with 4 edges and 4 corners that are not DR'd. So I can try setting this up to like a single move to get DR. So, also if I did B, I get this full block formed, and there's a 10 move DR from here, but I didn't find anything. But it turns out doing this also gives a 10 move DR, as I'll show you. So I take this corner and I attach it to, I'm basically I want to get this here. So I did D2, L2. Now I have 2 like partial bars, and this L2 move gets this corner here, so I can attach it here. And then from here, to make 2 bars, I can either do like D R2, which leaves the either edges in a nasty position, or I can do U F2, which leaves the either edges in a nicer position. So from here, it's just D prime L to DR. So this is DR in 10 moves, and there are like a huge amount of blocks. So I just did B2 from here to solve this block, which makes a square, and then L2. And that gives me 3 edges and 5 corners. So 1, 2, 3 corners and 5 edges. So when I did insertions on this, I found this spot right here before right after the domino. It looks like this. So you can see that this edge needs to go here, which needs to go here. So I can insert a 6 mover here to reduce it to 3E, 3C. So this edge cycle is L R prime U2, R L prime B2, which cancels 4 moves because this L cancels with this one, the B2 cancels with this, and the L prime cancels with the last L2. So I have 3E, 3C and 14 moves. And when I went to find the other edge insertion, I found it here. So the cube looks like this here. Let's just ignore that. And what do you know? It's a 6. It's another 6 mover, and this one goes D2 R L prime, D2 R prime L. So that cancels 3 moves. So because this B2 cancels this, and this L2 cancels with that. This gives me 3 corners and 17 moves, and I found a 2 cancel somewhere, which gives me 23. So this is a really nice solution. It's kind of weird because the final solution doesn't really look like a domino solve, even though I technically did domino. So this is the second solve. It's also a 23. When I first checked EO for this, I mean, okay, first I did some block stuff, but like there's a 2 move square, but that didn't give anything good. So when I did EO, there was like 10 bad edges on this axis, 8 bad edges on this one, and 8 on this one. So right away I'm just thinking that it's not a very good, it's quite a bad scramble. But I did find a nice 5 move EO that I could work with, which I'll show you now. So on this axis there are 8 bad edges, 4 of them are here, the other 4 are here. But that's not so important because all I did was just do an R move, which fixes these 4 bad edges, and it breaks this pair, but it gives me another one. So then I switched to inverse because the EO case here didn't give me anything good. So on the inverse, my 4 bad edges are now here. So I did U to put this one here, F2, put that one there, B prime. So now I have 4 bad edges on the L face, and I did L, which solves EO, and it gives me a square. And it solves this edge right here, which is great. All in 5 moves. So I did U to fix this 2x2x2, and from here what I wanted to do was initially just solve this little square right here, F L2, but that almost completely solves the white layer. So I figured, hey, why not? Let's just solve this white layer and see what happens. So this corner is here, so I just did D, F prime, D prime, and now I'm left with 7 edges in 13 moves. So 7 edges in 13 moves sounds pretty bad, but once in a while you can get like crazy stuff happening with edge insertions, like 6 minus 4 or something. So I figured I should at least have a look, and I was inserting on the inverse because almost the whole skeleton was on the inverse, but I found this spot. No, yeah, this one. It looks like this. So this edge goes here, which goes to here. And the way to solve this cycle is it's a 6 mover. L2, U prime D, F2, U D prime. Which leaves me with 5 edges. It solves 2 of the 7 edges. And it cancels 4 because this L2 cancels and this D cancels. So now I have 5 edges and 15 moves. I rewrote the whole thing into normal. And when I looked for insertions for this, I found this spot. Where... Oh, this is solved. Hold on. Alright, where the edges look like this. And this looks quite close to the 6 move 5 cycle for... yeah, the 6 move 5 cycle for edges, which looks like this. Right? So I figured, okay, let's just set it up to that shape and try to solve it, and... oh, what do you know? It solves the whole thing in 8 moves. So I did a 15 to 5e in 8 moves, which gives me a 23, which is very, very lucky because, you know, it's like 8 moves for a 5e and it's quite a hard scramble, which is why I would think that this solve is the one that like really gave me the ASR, because yeah, it was a pretty hard scramble and I got very lucky. Alright, so here's the last solve. This is really the only solve that I'm disappointed in. I'll show you why later, but anyway, the scramble looks like this. I did EO on this axis again. So there are 6 bad edges. They're here. So 3 are on this face, so I started with F prime to reduce it to 4 bad edges. And then now I did D to put this one here, and R prime. Now there's 4 bad edges on the back face, so B prime. And this, the white top domino wasn't that good, but if you rotate this way, the red top domino has 2 edges and 4 corners not dominoed, which is pretty nice. And I already have like most of the top structure going on, so all I need to do is F2, L prime, R2, and now it's just 3 more moves to domino. I just need to do the DR trigger. But instead of doing this trigger, which doesn't give me nice stuff, I did this trigger instead. So U, F2, U prime, giving me a square. So this is domino in 10 moves. Anyway, I solved the square, R2, and basically I just got lucky from here because it's just 2 more moves to 3E, 3C. So this is 3E, 3C in 13 moves. So when I got this skeleton, I figured, like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm gonna get an ASR most likely, because I knew I needed a 25, right? So I found this spot when I was doing insertions. So the edges look like this, and the way to solve the edges cancels 2 because it starts with L prime. So L prime, F2, D2, B2, R prime, U2, B2, D2. But the corner column right here is D2, B prime, U prime, B, D2, B prime, U, B. So I inserted 2 8 movers, and then I canceled 2, and then I canceled 3. So that gives me a 24 move solution. And when I found this, I was just like really, really happy because it doesn't just tie ASR, it beats ASR. So I was a bit too excited because just based on the way I wrote this skeleton down and stuff like that, like there's a corner column right here that cancels 4 moves with this B move and this L move, so I kind of like didn't see that, and that actually gives a 22 move final solution. So whoops, yeah, there's nothing I can do about it now, but hey, ASR is still ASR.